Volcanoes are some of the most powerful natural forces on Earth. They can create new land and destroy old land. They can also cause widespread death and destruction. Throughout history, there have been many devastating volcanic eruptions that have changed the world. In this video, we will take a look at the top 5 most horrifying volcano eruptions caught on camera. These eruptions were all filmed by people who were caught in the middle of the action, and they provide a terrifying glimpse of what it is like to be caught in a volcanic eruption. These eruptions are all reminders of the power of nature and the importance of being prepared for the possibility of a volcanic eruption. If you live near a volcano, it is important to have a plan in place for evacuating yourself and your family. Number 5. Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano. In 2013, Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano erupted, spewing ash and smoke thousands of feet into the air. The eruption caused widespread panic, as people feared that the volcano would release a deadly pyroclastic flow. A group of hikers were seen on camera as they were caught in the eruption. They were climbing the volcano when the ground began to shake and the sky turned black. The hikers ran for their lives, but they were quickly overtaken by a cloud of ash and smoke. The hikers were trapped in the cloud for several hours. They could barely see and breathe. They coughed and sputtered as the ash filled their lungs. They were terrified that they would die. Finally, the cloud of ash and smoke passed. The hikers were exhausted and covered in ash, but they were alive. They had survived a terrifying eruption of one of Mexico's most active volcanoes. Number 4. Mount Shinmodaki volcano. In 2011, Japan's Mount Shinmodaki volcano erupted, sending a pyroclastic flow down the mountainside. The pyroclastic flow was a mixture of hot gas and rocks that traveled at speeds of up to 400 miles per hour. A group of farmers were working in their fields when the pyroclastic flow struck. They were instantly killed. Their bodies were buried in ash and debris. A nearby village was also destroyed by the pyroclastic flow. The houses were incinerated and the roads were covered in ash. The eruption of Mount Shinmodaki was a devastating event. It claimed the lives of many people and destroyed homes and property. It was a reminder of the power of nature and the dangers of living near a volcano. Number 3. Mount Kasuga Dake volcano. In 2011, Japan's Mount Kasuga Dake volcano erupted, sending a plume of ash and smoke 16 miles into the air. The eruption caused widespread disruption, as airports were closed and flights were cancelled. A group of tourists were visiting the volcano when it erupted. They were taking pictures of the crater when the ground began to shake and the ash began to fall. The tourists ran for their lives and managed to find shelter in a nearby cave. They stayed in the cave for several hours until the ash cloud passed. When they emerged from the cave, they were covered in ash, but they were alive. The eruption of Mount Kasuga Dake was a frightening experience for the tourists. It was a reminder of the dangers of nature and the importance of being prepared for a volcanic eruption. Number 2. Costa Rica's Turrialba volcano. In 2016, Costa Rica's Turrialba volcano erupted, sending a plume of ash and smoke 10 miles into the air. The eruption caused widespread respiratory problems, as the ash fell on nearby towns and villages. A group of schoolchildren were playing outside when the eruption began. They started to cough and choke as the ash filled their lungs. They ran inside their school, but the ash was already inside. The schoolchildren were evacuated from the school and taken to a nearby hospital. Many of them were treated for respiratory problems. The eruption of Turrialba was a reminder of the dangers of living near a volcano. It was also a reminder of the importance of having a plan in place for evacuating people in the event of an eruption. Number 1. Mount St. Helens. In 1980, Mount St. Helens, a volcano in the state of Washington, erupted. The eruption was one of the deadliest in U.S. history, killing 57 people. The eruption began with a series of earthquakes. On the morning of May 18, 1980, a massive earthquake shook the mountain. The earthquake triggered a landslide, which caused the north side of the mountain to collapse. A pyroclastic flow raced down the mountainside, destroying everything in its path. The pyroclastic flow was so hot that it melted trees and turned the ground to glass. The eruption of Mount St. Helens was a devastating event. It destroyed millions of acres of forest and wildlife habitat. It also caused widespread economic damage. We have seen the top 5 most horrifying volcano eruptions caught on camera. These eruptions were all terrifying events that caused widespread death and destruction. They are a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of being prepared for the possibility of a volcanic eruption. If you live near a volcano, you need to have a plan in place for evacuating yourself and your family. You should also be familiar with the signs of an impending eruption, such as earthquakes and ground deformation. If you see any of these signs, you should evacuate immediately. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel for more great content.